Whoa! Hello, and thank you for joining the GCA in our initial reaction to episode 4 of The Acolyte. Uh, Thank you for joining us. And, you know, what else can be said there, Malty?
93 BBY. That's all I got to say.
Anyways, well, let's get into this.
We knew it was
Define.
coming.
It's bad. It's really bad. Anyways, all right. So let's do a brief synopsis of what we saw in the episode. This continues on from episode 3, which was a flashback, so I don't think it really continued on from anything. So
Yeah.
this is actually a continuation from episode 2, I guess. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the adult May with the look. I just watched this thing like about a half hour ago. I'm trying to block it out like a bad childhood memory. It's really hard.
All right. So the way that episode 2 ended, where we're on Corfa or whatever the planet the Wookiee is on, and he breaks the blaster in half and like cuts someone down, and then we end up back. That's where it starts again, and it shows him with his little Dagobah-esque style hut. And then we go to Coruscant, where Osha is at the Jedi Temple again. She's watching them do their training with a little like underage lesbian Padawan, and apparently they're good friends, even though they're about 6 to 8 years apart. So that's where we pick up.
Yeah, and we have a lot of banal dialogue. I remember that they're just like trying to emote, and it just looks like two wooden planks trying to emote with each other.
It's
I
like
do know
two
that.
preschool kids trying to become friends for the first time, but supposedly they have a history.
That's just I don't care. I
They
really
were
don't care.
trying to
And they
share
make
cookies.
yeah, and like seriously, it's like Cookies would have done better acting in that scene had it been preschoolers.
Hmm.
In the yeah, ugh, so bad. It's so bad.
It literally reminded me of that Family Guy episode where Stewie finds the girl and gives her a cookie. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll follow you around now. It's like, that's what it reminded me of. But anyway, Osha tries to do her a little Irish goodbye, basically out of nowhere. I guess she saw that May was alive. And she's like, okay, well, y'all found her, so I am out this bitch.
Yeah, and you know the whole episode, as with every other prior episode in this series, just proceeded along with no passage of time. It wasn't like okay, hot take. It wasn't like George Lucas was the best at covering passage of time or distance. It felt like all the planets were right next to each other, and the passage of time was nothing. But these guys take it to a whole different level. It's so bad. So we don't know. Yeah, we don't know how long it takes to get places. We don't know how far away are protagonists and antagonists, which I use that term loosely because it's written by Marxists. So obviously,
Yeah.
that like good and bad isn't something that they understand or care to understand. So we go to it was Kofar because I was making a joke. It's like close yet far away. Sorry, I'm a dad, guys. I can't help it. But anyways, so we end up on the planet and we have the okay. So it just came back to me like a flashback. So they're on.
Oh,
I'm
no.
telling you, people, turn away. If you still have hope, you are a better person than me. So we're on the ship as they're on their way to Kofar, and Osha is trying to interact with the tracker, the gopher type person named Basil.
Basil or whatever.
Basil, yeah.
Who
And
looks
she go
fucking horrendous. I'm sorry for that word. Who looks horrendous, by the way.
yes,
Horrible
absolutely.
CGI.
Horrible CGI. I can kind of understand where they're going. Ironically, it's the most Star Wars. It's the closest thing to Star Wars than anything in any of the show has ever shown us to this point. It seems more like a Star Wars character, like an Ewok or something. Like it just, but it's still bad. It's not great. It's just that's how bad the rest of the characters are. Is like that thing that gopher. So, anyways, Osha goes to somebody and she says, what is that? What is he? I mean, they. We got pronouns. in a Star Wars show.
Mm-hmm. And the gayest
Yeah.
of them all corrects her and says he when they're later on the hillside.
Yeah,
With
and they don't even say anything. They're like he. It was obviously an added in thing. They're like, oh no, we've misgendered a gopher person. Whatever.
mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they get on the planet. Uh, I will have to say this: the person who played Master Soul, like for somebody that doesn't speak English, he actually really was. I mean, he's surrounded by a bunch of amateurs, but he was doing a good job. Like he actually was doing a good job delivering his lines.
Mm-hmm.
He still had a thick accent, but you could tell he was outclassed all the rest of the people in this episode by far, including Jedi Master Avocado, Vernestra Rowe, the Leslie Headland's. She is so
Thank
bad. I'm dead
goodness.
serious. I've seen school plays with better actresses, and yes, I said
Mm-hmm.
actresses. Yeah.
And of course, they give her the role where she's above everyone else. They all listen to her, even though supposedly it's a council of Jedi masters. They all look up to her. Of course, the worst one there.
No, even Yoda didn't have full sway over the Jedi Council, but yet Avocado McGillicuddy, just she says stuff and people believe him. The fact that they let Master Soul talk to her in such a way that is like, look, you need to believe me. Like we can do this. The fact that she didn't say quit mansplaining me or something like that, I was shocked about that. But that's how low the expectations are. I was expecting,
True.
yeah. I was like, oh, I was just expecting to be like, you have not seen what I have seen or something like that. But that
They do
was,
use that line later on, or maybe it's earlier on. It's the little Padawan with the little
oh my
horns.
goodness. Okay.
I have
So
not
there,
seen what you've seen. You've seen more than what I've seen.
oh, and no, it was life is based off of sacrifices, and you've had so many sacrifices. Like, what are you talking about? She's had one.
She's had her
And
sister try to sacrifice her.
yeah, I was
That's
gonna
a
say,
sacrifice. She didn't even make that sacrifice. Someone tried to sacrifice her.
yeah. So it was such a like they tried to establish this character arc between X-23, the person that played X-23 in Logan, and May, and they did it
Hmm.
so ham-handedly. Like they don't do anything with subtlety in here, which is hilarious because they have Jedi Master Groundskeeper Willie, the Scottish guy. Oh, you need to keep your hilt closer to your hip, and he's like, oh, you need to attack with subtlety, and which is this. Everything in this episode lacks complete subtlety. It's so over the head.
Hmm.
You can see it coming, but that
You know what we
regardless,
didn't see coming is when
Mhm.
May just like completely flips the switch. It's impossible to kill without a weapon, and then obviously her guide knows way more than he's letting on.
Yeah, Asian Ezra
Probably,
Miller. Yeah,
yeah, probably as someone who's leading her into the thing, making sure that she doesn't deter from the path.
yeah. No,
And then
it's
just magically, it's like, no, my sister's alive. I don't want to follow the Sith anymore. It's like,
and
where'd this
by
come from?
watching
There is
it,
no character arc.
yeah, and by watching it, you're thinking this is a ploy. Like anybody that enjoys like actual movies, you're like they're trying to throw somebody off the scent. No, people, this literally is how it happened. Like they within the course of like the whole episode was what, like 32 minutes. So
Yeah.
within the course of like literally certainly 1/4 of the episode, she's like, I don't know if I can do this. It seems impossible. You know what? I'm just gonna give up and be a good person.
Oops,
That
it
was
was that
it.
easy.
And
Look at that redemption.
not any of the Jedi, not Osha, not nobody was there to sway them. There was no like pushing back or anything like that. It was repulsive how they did that. Like literally, like people like Malty and I, we just looked at it, we're like, there's no way. But lo
Hmm.
and behold, towards the end of the episode, yep, that's exactly what happened. That she
And
just
why?
basically said, yeah.
And she said she was going to turn herself in to Kaneka or whatever the Wookiee's name was, and she was going to turn
Tarnaka,
herself
yeah.
over to the Jedi. So when she goes in there and finds him dead, yes, the spoilers because which our first, our first glimpse at it. So we're not going to keep it spoiler free. She finds him dead with what looks like a lightsaber wound through it. Well, if she doesn't have that access to that, she could immediately go out and surrender herself to the Jedi and be, look, I found him that way. I don't have any weapons on me, so I couldn't have done it. Easy peasy. But instead,
Yeah,
she stays hidden.
yeah, because she's oppressed. I'm sure that was something to go along with it. But
Which
anyways,
she's not savage oppressed.
yeah, that would be more interesting.
Deep cut.
Albeit not completely interesting. But yeah, no, so like we're skipping over parts of the episode, but there's just so much of the episode, like many of the other prior episodes, that are so unremarkable. Like it's not worth, like we've just mentioned all the parts you need to know. Like everything else is extra. Everything it's not even germane to the rest of the story. What we just explained to you over the last 11 minutes is exactly all you need to know. And even then, it's nothing when it comes right into it. So in the final scene, we have May hanging out with Karnaka with a laser sword wound in his chest. Apparently, lightsabers can still end people. So that's I guess that's a good news. Oh, makes me
You just can't impale them. You just have to like slice them,
yeah.
and then that does the job. But if you impale them, well, that's nothing. You'll be over that in a day without a backup tank.
Totally. So while we're trying to process all that nonsense, we have May inside the hut. Not Jabba the Hutt, but I wouldn't put it past him to do that. We have her inside the domicile, and then outside we have Smilo Ren, the acolyte, the mysterious being that approaches the Jedi. Yes,
For the lulls, if y'all remember that movie.
it's so bad. Like I thought it was like I just wasn't looking at the helmet correctly. Like I can give a lot of leeway to people, but like in the way they design it, but it literally looks like a bunch of molars, like this.
Yeah, that's bad. It's so bad.
And her head looks like if anybody out there knows what an axolotl is, that's what she looks like. He looks like whatever it is. But anyways, so Smilo Ren comes up on Osha and menacingly, I use that term loosely, ignites her lightsaber over Osha, and the Jedi Avengers assemble. Yep, and she just does the just yeets
But
a bunch of Jedi
in the most dainty way possible. Like not just like
not even Darth Vader could send people going that far, but Smilo Ren could, and the whole thing was just an offense to anybody that has any kind of respect for Star Wars. And you know what the most offensive part of the show was? It happened in the credits. You probably missed it because you're probably if you were brave enough to watch the show, you probably were crying into your hands and regretting every life choice you made up until that point. But if you paid close attention to the credits, you noticed there was a name that was there that should not have been there. Care to clue us in on that since you're the one that dropped the spoiler there, sir?
Kiedi Mundi.
Oh, the guy that was born 93 years before the Battle of Yavin? That guy?
Yeah, and when does this take place? It's around 150 years before the Battle of Yavin. Give or take, but it's well over 100.
Well, if I was an enterprising SJW and I wanted to cover up this information, would I do it well before the episode? Or would I do it right after the episode ends when the Twitter feedback comes?
and make the text super extremely tiny so maybe people miss it.
Oh, no. Yeah, so this whole thing just screams of DEI nonsense. It's yes, we have been imbibing the entire. Seriously, there's not enough in our house. There's not enough on this side of the United States for us to be able to deal with this episode. But rest assured, people, it's a stinker. It's not as bad as 3 because 3 is just could be one of the worst episodes of anything ever. But that's not saying much. Take this as a warning. Do not watch The Acolyte. let sadists like Malty and I do it. You're going to regret
I'm a
it.
cutter.
I haven't been for the first part of my life, the first half of my life, but I tell you what, I'm looking into to box cutters. I'm looking into it, man, because this ain't doing it. This ain't doing it. So thank you for watching this first response to this horrendous episode. It's a defilement of a corpse, and it makes me sad. But you know what? We're here to grift, baby. We're here to monetize it. We're here to expedite its drive into the ground. Thank you for watching us tonight. Malty, it's been a pleasure. And
Always,
let me
man.
see if I can do it, because Malty's the man. He's got all the good videos. Thanks for like and subscribe and watch the GCA. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.